So while all of that was happening yesterday, there was another big moment unfolding on Capitol Hill, which is Senator Mitch McConnell, who happens to be 81 years old and has suffered some, difficult health situations in recent months and years. He was giving a press conference. He was speaking, and then the words start to get a little slurred. And then he just comes to a total stop, totally freezes mid-sentence, and just stares blankly at the camera for 15 seconds, seemingly unable to formulate any further words. Let's take a look at what that looked like.
Bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Okay, Mitch? Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press?
Go ahead, John.
I'll take it.
So what you see there at the end is, I think that's Senator Barrasso, who comes over and says, "Hey, Mitch, do you have anything else you want to say to the press, or should we go back to your office?" And then he proceeds to escort Mitch McConnell off the screen.
Look, I can't say shit. I've done that exact same thing before. I have absolutely.
No, you haven't.
Yes, first of all, I've done my show like more times than I can count. And there was definitely, I remember one time in particular, but there's probably more, that I was mid-sentence in the middle of a show and one of my lights that was on me went out and it like flashed. And then I did exactly that. I was like, and that's what.
Did someone have to escort you off, though?
And literally, no, nobody had to escort me off, but I cut to break. I froze for like 15 seconds and I cut to break. And then you could ask Lilith this. She probably remembers it. And everybody was laughing in the chat. And I was like, yeah, this is funny. It's like, fuck, my brain doesn't work. God damn it. So like part of me feels really, really bad for him over this.
Yeah.
But the other part, look, the obvious point to make is, Jesus Christ, all of our leaders are like 412 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, Dianne Feinstein is going gonzo. Her brain is not on this planet. It's on Neptune right now.
She doesn't know where she is.
She doesn't know where she is. They're propping her up like a corpse, like it's Weekend at Bernie's.
That's sad.
Mitch McConnell, this going on.
Yeah, well, and we've learned more. We've learned more too since this happened. First, let me show you. So he did come back a couple minutes later, which to me is also crazy. Because I'm like, this man should be in the hospital. Like, if this was your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whatever, and they just froze. I mean, this could be a stroke. It could be a siege. It could be something.
I didn't think it was that, to be honest.
You didn't think so?
No.
Stroke was immediately what came to mind for me. If this was one of my parents, I would have them in the emergency room ASAP. So he comes back a couple minutes later, and it's like, yeah, I'm fine. No problem here. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
Could you address what happened here at the start of the press conference? And was it related to your injury from earlier this year where you suffered a concussion? Is that...
No, I'm fine.
You're fine, you're fully able to do your job?
Yeah.
So he had suffered a concussion previously, is what Manu Raji, the CNN reporter, is referring to there.
Multiple ones.
Suffered a concussion recently, and then on July 14th, so we're talking about in the last couple of weeks, he apparently had another fall.
He fell twice coming off a plane.
At the airport. And, you know, this is a man who's 81 years old, and those sort of concussions, they can have long-term implications even in a young person. So that's the state of affairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad, right? It's just a sad situation. I don't have many jokes to make on this one. I just feel like it's not only the right thing for the country to sort of have some younger people in there, right?
Yeah.
It's also better for these. I mean, he should be laying on a beach sipping a mojito right now.
I mean,
he should be chilling.
I mean, here's where I, go beyond just like sympathy for him, which is that you're in a very powerful position, just like Dianne Feinstein, just like Joseph Robinette Biden, and people deserve some transparency around whether or not you are actually in condition to do the job. And so we come to find out now he's, just had these falls and he's being pushed around the Capitol in a wheelchair oftentimes. And
McConnell is? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that just came out this morning as well. And, he refused to say whether he saw a doctor after this incident. He won't say what actually the hell happened and explains that, total brain freeze for 15 seconds where he has to be let off by a colleague. And I think at the very, people can they can take that information, make up their minds over whether they still want this person in power, but they deserve the information. Meanwhile, you probably saw the report about Biden's people and how they're really, going all out to make sure to hide from the public his signs of agings and all the length that they're going to try to make sure that the public doesn't see what's going on there. And of course, refusing to debate so that people can't assess for themselves whether this person is up to the job. Same thing with Dianne Feinstein. Last time around, when she had a competitor, she wouldn't debate. And so people didn't have a chance to see for themselves, this person is declining and is really not here. And if we're voting for her, what we're really voting for is the staff that runs her office to be telling her what to do and taking the votes in her stead. So that's where I think it goes beyond just like, this man should be, getting a checkup and we should be concerned about him.
So I wouldn't be in favor of a law that like, oh, when you get over a certain age, you're kicked out of
No, I
government.
wouldn't either.
I wouldn't be in favor of that. I would be in favor, number one, of him voluntarily stepping down, Dianne Feinstein voluntarily stepping down. I would highly encourage that to happen, sort of like how Barack Obama encouraged Ruth Bader Ginsburg to step down, and she didn't because she's incredibly selfish and narcissistic.
That's a good point. Too.
But the other thing is, what I would be in favor of, in terms of like, here's an avenue where maybe we could address this, is some sort of a procedure for a no confidence vote where they're effectively, if it's democratically decided, told, okay, it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
Because I do think even with like, powerhouse like Dianne Feinstein, who's been in office forever, at a certain point, if the voters know all the facts, they're going to go, can't be doing this.
Yeah.
Can't be doing this.
I mean, she shouldn't be serving out the rest of this term. She shouldn't have run for office this time. And so far, she's absolutely dedicated to it. And Nancy Pelosi is backing her up for her own reasons, which is, in my opinion, disgusting because she thinks
Adam Schiff will win.
Schiff will win. But if Dianne Feinstein retires and
Newsom
steps
will
down,
pick a woman,
Newsom
probably
will pick
Barbara Lee.
Possibly Barbara Lee. And then, that gives her a leg up in the contest. And Nancy Pelosi won't have her little hand-chosen pick in there. And so, disgustingly, because you were certainly not looking out for the interests of this person, Dianne Feinstein, that you claim to care about. I mean, it can't be good for her to be in this job at this point. But, she is backing her up and making sure, pushing her across the finish line, trying to get her to the next cycle.
Deeply cynical.
Yeah, indeed.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.